There comes a moment in life when everything feels heavy, when prayers feel unanswered, doors seem closed, and hope begins to fade. But what if this difficult season is not the end of your story? What if this moment, the one that feels like breaking you, is actually preparing you for something greater? If you are tired, discouraged, or close to giving up, this message came to you for a reason. Stay until the end, because sometimes the words we hear at the right time can change everything. There are moments in life when pain feels endless, when every day feels heavier than the last, and it seems as if nothing is changing no matter how hard you try. In those moments, it's easy to believe that this is how life will always be, that the struggle you are facing now is permanent. But the truth is, no season lasts forever. Just like night slowly gives way to morning, difficult times eventually pass, even when you cannot see the light yet. When you are inside a storm, time feels different. A few weeks can feel like years. Every disappointment feels like proof that things will never get better. But life moves in seasons, and seasons change whether we notice it or not. The pain you feel today is not meant to define your entire future. It is a chapter, not the whole story. Many people look back at the hardest periods of their lives and realize that those moments shaped them in ways comfort never could. The struggle taught them patience. The waiting taught them faith. The hardship revealed strength they didn't know they had. It's important to remember that growth rarely happens in comfort. When everything is easy, we rarely change. But when life challenges us, we are forced to grow, to adapt, and to discover deeper strength within ourselves. The storm you are facing may feel unfair, but it is not meaningless. Even when you cannot understand it now, something is being formed inside you: resilience, wisdom, and a deeper understanding of life. And one day, when this season passes, you may realize that what once felt like breaking you was actually building you. Another painful thought that often enters the mind during difficult times is the feeling of being forgotten or rejected. When opportunities don't come, when prayers seem unanswered, or when doors keep closing, it's easy to assume that life is saying no to you. But delay does not mean denial. Sometimes what feels like rejection is actually protection. Sometimes things don't happen when we want them to, because we are not yet ready for what we are asking for, or because something better is being prepared beyond what we can currently see. Think about how often people rush into situations they later regret. Relationships entered too quickly, decisions made without preparation, opportunities accepted before they were ready to handle them. In hindsight, delays can become blessings. Waiting creates space for growth. It allows circumstances to align, skills to develop, and understanding to deepen. What feels like silence may actually be preparation happening quietly behind the scenes. Patience is one of the hardest lessons to learn because it requires trust without immediate evidence. We live in a world that wants instant results, instant success, and instant answers. But the most meaningful things in life take time. A strong foundation is not built overnight. Character is not formed in ease. And lasting success often comes after long periods of waiting and persistence. The delay you are experiencing may be shaping you into someone capable of sustaining the very thing you are hoping for. There is also a hidden danger in believing that everything must happen according to our own timeline. When expectations are not met, frustration grows and hope begins to fade. But life does not always follow our schedule. Sometimes what we think we need right now would not truly serve us in the long run. Timing matters more than we realize. What arrives too early can be lost just as quickly. What arrives at the right time has the power to last. If you are in a season where nothing seems to move forward, Do not mistake stillness for failure. Roots grow in silence before anything becomes visible above the ground. Just because you cannot see progress does not mean progress is not happening. Many breakthroughs are invisible until the moment they finally appear. And often, they come after the period when hope felt hardest to hold on to. So if you feel tired, if you feel like giving up, because things are taking longer than expected, remind yourself that this moment is not permanent. The pain you feel now will not last forever. The delay you are experiencing is not the end of your journey. Life is still moving, even when it feels slow. Your story is still unfolding, even when the page feels heavy to turn. Hold on a little longer. Trust that change is possible, even when you cannot see it yet. The storm will pass, and when it does, you may discover that you are stronger, wiser, and more prepared than you ever imagined. Sometimes the hardest seasons carry the greatest lessons, and sometimes the delays we fear the most lead us exactly where we were meant to be. There are moments when struggle feels unfair, when challenges arrive one after another, and you begin to wonder why life has become so difficult. In those moments, it's easy to focus only on the pain, only on what is being lost, only on how heavy everything feels. But often, what feels like pressure is actually transformation taking place. Strength is rarely built in comfort. It is built in resistance, in uncertainty, and in the moments when continuing forward feels hardest. Every challenge carries within it an opportunity to grow, even if that growth is not immediately visible. When life pushes you beyond what feels comfortable, it forces you to discover parts of yourself you never needed before. Patience develops when things don't happen quickly. Courage develops when fear is present, but you move forward anyway. Wisdom develops through mistakes, disappointments, and lessons learned the hard way. The person you are becoming is shaped by the difficulties you face today. Think about the strongest people you know. Their strength did not come from easy lives. It came from overcoming loss, failure, rejection, or uncertainty. Hardship teaches endurance. It teaches you how to stand again after falling. And while the process can feel painful, it creates a depth of character that cannot be gained any other way. The struggles you face now are not just obstacles, they are shaping your ability to handle greater responsibilities, deeper relationships, and bigger opportunities in the future. Sometimes we wish for challenges to disappear immediately, not realizing that removing every difficulty would also remove the growth that comes with it. Just as muscles grow through resistance, inner strength grows through challenge. What feels heavy today may one day become the very reason you are able to help someone else who is struggling. Your experiences, even the painful ones, are adding layers to your understanding and compassion. But during these difficult seasons, the greatest battle often happens in the mind. When circumstances don't change quickly, negative thoughts begin to take over. Doubt whispers that things will never improve. Fear suggests that hope is pointless. And slowly, without realizing it, people begin to lose belief in better days ahead. This is why hope is not simply a feeling, it is a decision. It is something you choose again and again, even when evidence seems limited. Choosing hope does not mean ignoring reality or pretending that everything is perfect. It means refusing to let temporary pain define your permanent outlook. It means believing that your current situation is not the final destination. Hope keeps your vision alive when circumstances try to narrow it. It allows you to keep moving forward, even if the steps are small. There will be days when hope feels fragile, days when motivation disappears and exhaustion takes over. On those days, hope may not look like confidence or excitement. Sometimes hope simply looks like not giving up. Sometimes it is just getting through the day, trusting that tomorrow can be different, and that is enough. Small acts of perseverance often lead to the biggest changes over time. It's important to understand that hope changes how you experience difficulty. Without hope, challenges feel meaningless and overwhelming. With hope, challenges become temporary and purposeful. The situation may remain the same for a while, but your inner strength begins to grow. You start to see possibilities where before you saw only obstacles. You begin to notice opportunities that fear once hid from you. Life has a way of testing patience before revealing progress. Many people quit during the quiet moments because they assume nothing is happening. But growth often takes place beneath the surface. Just like a seed buried in the ground, transformation happens unseen before it becomes visible. Choosing hope during these unseen moments keeps you moving forward until change finally appears. And perhaps the most powerful realization is this: you are stronger than you think. Every challenge you have survived until now is proof of that. There were moments in the past when you thought you wouldn't make it through, yet here you are. Each struggle added resilience. Each setback taught you something valuable. The strength you need for today is already being formed within you. So when life feels heavy, remind yourself that difficulty is not a sign of failure. It is often a sign that growth is taking place. And when hope feels distant, choose it anyway. Not because everything is certain, but because believing in the possibility of better days gives you the strength to continue. Over time, that choice becomes a quiet power inside you, guiding you forward even when the path is unclear. One day, you may look back on this period and realize that it changed you in ways you never expected. The struggle shaped your strength. The uncertainty strengthened your faith. And the decision to hold on to hope, even when it was hard, became the reason you kept going long enough to see life change. Feels invisible to everyone else. You go through your days smiling, speaking normally, fulfilling responsibilities, yet inside you may be fighting battles no one sees. In those moments, loneliness can feel overwhelming. You may begin to believe that no one truly understands what you are going through, that you are facing everything on your own. But the truth is, many people walk through life carrying silent struggles. Pain is often hidden behind ordinary faces, and strength is often quiet. Feeling alone does not mean you actually are alone. Sometimes support exists in ways we do not immediately recognize. It can come through a kind word, an unexpected opportunity, a message heard at the right moment, or the presence of someone who simply listens without judgment. Even when people cannot fully understand your experience, connection still exists. Humanity itself is built on shared struggle. Everyone, in some way, knows what it feels like to hope, to fear, to lose, and to try again. There is also a deeper kind of strength that appears when you realize you are not required to carry everything perfectly. Many people feel pressure to appear strong all the time, believing that asking for help is a sign of weakness. In reality, acknowledging that you need support is an act of courage. Strength is not about never struggling. It is about continuing despite struggle and allowing yourself to be human along the way. When you open yourself to connection, even in small ways, you begin to feel less isolated in your journey. Sometimes the reminder that you are not alone comes from recognizing how many others have walked difficult paths before you and still found their way forward. History's stories and everyday lives are filled with people who faced uncertainty, loss, and fear, yet continued moving step by step. Their journeys remind us that hardship is part of the human experience, not a personal failure. Knowing this can bring comfort, because it shifts the perspective from, "Why is this happening to me?" Two, this is something I can move through. At the same time, when life feels overwhelming, people often believe that progress must be dramatic in order to matter. We celebrate big achievements and visible success, but real change usually happens quietly. It happens in small decisions made daily, choosing to try again after disappointment, choosing patience instead of frustration, choosing to take one more step forward even when motivation is low. These small actions may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they create powerful momentum. Progress rarely looks impressive while it is happening. A small improvement today, another tomorrow, and slowly a new direction begins to form. The danger comes when people compare their journey to others and feel discouraged because their progress seems slow. Everyone's path is different, and growth cannot always be rushed. Moving forward slowly is still moving forward. Even the smallest step breaks the pattern of staying stuck. There will be days when energy feels limited and the future feels uncertain. On those days, the goal does not need to be perfection. The goal can simply be continuation. One small action, making a call, finishing a task, learning something new, or even just choosing not to give up, can shift the direction of an entire day. Over time, these small choices accumulate and create change that once seemed impossible. It is important to remember that lasting transformation is built through consistency, not intensity. Sudden bursts of motivation often fade, but steady effort creates real results. Like water slowly shaping stone, small, consistent steps reshape life in ways that are not immediately visible but deeply powerful. The person who keeps going, even slowly, often reaches places that those waiting for perfect conditions never do. When you combine the understanding that you are not alone with the willingness to keep taking small steps, something begins to change internally. Pressure starts to ease. The journey feels less overwhelming because you no longer expect instant solutions. Instead, you begin to trust the process, trusting that each step, no matter how small, is leading somewhere meaningful. And perhaps this is where quiet strength is born. Not in dramatic moments, but in ordinary days when you choose to continue despite uncertainty. When you allow yourself to receive support, when you accept that growth takes time, and when you keep moving forward without needing immediate results. Over time, you begin to see that progress was happening all along. One day, you may look back and realize that the moments when you felt most alone were also the moments when you learned the most about resilience and connection. The small steps you once doubted became the foundation of real change. And the realization that you didn't have to carry everything by yourself made the journey lighter than you ever expected. There are moments in life when it feels as though the story has reached its hardest chapter. The pain feels heavy, the uncertainty feels endless, and it becomes difficult to imagine that anything good could still be ahead. When you are standing in that place, it is easy to believe that what you see now is how everything will remain. But life rarely reveals its full meaning in the middle of struggle. What feels like an ending is often just a turning point that has not yet revealed its purpose. Every life moves through chapters. Some chapters are filled with joy, growth, and clarity, while others bring confusion, loss, or waiting. The mistake many people make is assuming that a difficult chapter defines the entire story. But stories are not meant to stay in one place. They move, they develop, and they evolve. The chapter you are in right now may be painful, but it is not the conclusion. There are pages still unwritten, experiences still ahead, and strength still waiting to be discovered within you. Sometimes we become so focused on present pain that we forget how much can change with time. Situations that once felt permanent slowly shift. new opportunities appear. Perspectives change. Healing begins quietly, often without us noticing at first. The future has a way of surprising us, but only if we allow ourselves to continue forward long enough to reach it. When hope feels distant, reminding yourself that your story is still unfolding can be enough to keep you moving. It is also important to understand that meaning often becomes clear only in hindsight. Many people look back at moments they once wished to escape and realize those moments shaped their direction in unexpected ways. The struggle redirected them, taught them something essential, or led them toward people and opportunities they would not have encountered otherwise. What feels confusing now may one day make sense in ways you cannot yet see. There is a quiet strength in accepting that you do not need to have everything figured out today. Life is not meant to be understood all at once. Sometimes the only requirement is to keep turning the page, trusting that clarity will come with time. Growth does not happen instantly, and neither does healing. But both happen when you allow the story to continue, instead of deciding too early that it is over. And often, just when people feel most exhausted, just when they begin to believe that nothing will change, something shifts. Breakthroughs rarely announce themselves in advance. They come after long periods of effort, patience, and endurance. Many people give up not because they lack strength, but because they stop just before change arrives. The hardest part of any journey is usually the moment right before things begin to move forward. Think about how pressure works in nature. Diamonds are formed under intense pressure over time. Seeds must push through darkness before reaching light. Transformation often requires discomfort before growth becomes visible. The challenges you are facing may feel overwhelming, but they may also be preparing you for a moment of change that requires the strength you are building now. Holding on during difficult times does not mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. It means believing that your current struggle is not meaningless. It means trusting that endurance has value, even when results are not immediate. Sometimes the greatest act of courage is simply refusing to give up when giving up feels easier. There will be moments when patience feels impossible, when you question whether continuing is worth it. In those moments, it helps to remember how far you have already come. Every obstacle you have survived until now is evidence of resilience. You have already endured days you once thought you couldn't handle. That same strength still exists within you, even if you feel tired right now. Breakthrough does not always look like sudden success or dramatic change. Sometimes it appears as inner peace where anxiety once lived. Sometimes it shows up as clarity after confusion, or new opportunities after long periods of waiting. The change may arrive quietly, but its impact can reshape everything that comes after. So if you are standing in a difficult moment, remind yourself that this is not the end of your story. The page is still turning. The effort you are making today is not wasted, even if results are not yet visible. Stay patient with yourself and with the process. Often, the moment when you feel like giving up is the very moment when life is preparing to move you forward. Hold on a little longer. Trust that what you are going through now is not the final destination. The story continues, and sometimes the most beautiful chapters come after the hardest ones.